All right, appreciate y'all. I just got finished doing another episode for Modern Nobility, and I just wanted to talk real quick because some people have been asking me, like I've over the years, I'm been around people, and they're like, how do you just go out there and know exactly what stock to invest in? And the best way I can tell you is like someone told me a long time ago, and once again, I don't know who told me this, but I just remember the lesson. I remember the wise words of wisdom. It's always probably that person in a higher position or someone that could have been. You know what? It could have very well been someone that was an older. I'm trying to place the memory. I'm thinking it was an older woman that was at this. She was at a nursing home that I stopped by to drop off, and I was talking to. I was dropping off her mother, and I was talking to her, and she was like, her mother was like in her 80s, and she was at least probably early 60s, right? So it was a woman that had actually worked the majority of her life and had some like understanding, and she had told me something. She said that, you know, you need to just find, like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That is something, that's basically what she said to me. And I've heard that saying over and over, but when she said it in particular, it just rung in my mind, especially on the ride back to, I was working for this company called Keystone Quality Transport, and it was on my way to ride back from that location that I can't even remember where it was. It was probably somewhere far up, like Eagleville or something. Somewhere, it was like a good hour away. And I was driving back down on the highway, and in my mind, I'm driving, I'm focused, and I'm paying attention to the road, but that kept ringing in my mind. And I just kept hearing that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So when it comes to stocks, I said, okay, I'm gonna find something that is disruptive. And I'll give you some clue things. And you can do this in any field. Uber. That's a disruptive technology that was an app that was put in place to allow other people to use their cars to disrupt the taxi company. Airbnb, that's another company that was put in place to allow the homeowners to rent out their home to strangers to make money, to disrupt the hotel industry. Amazon blew up like the general store space and book market. There's so many different companies that came along and just dominated. Apple just basically made us a phone and computers, like for consumer sales. So you think of anything that is a technology that's already in place and you want to disrupt it, right? Taxis were already there, so Uber came in and disrupted. Hotels were already there, so Airbnb came in and disrupted. When you come into Apple, there was like telephones that were in the home, but there weren't like mobile phones and actually laptops and computers that they had envisioned that you had at home versus that you had to go to the library and places like that, or you had to be in some place of business to own an expensive piece of equipment. And they wanted you to have it at home. They wanted you to be able to take this phone that I'm recording on now and be able to just dream the wildest things and be able to have connection with the internet, the website, the, what do they call it, the Internet of Things, right? IoT. So those things were disrupted. There was something in place and they just changed it. Another thing, electric cars. Electric cars has already been around like 100 years ago, but the company basically got pushed under the rug, right? And because of a lot of the gas and oil companies, and basically gas cars just ruled the earth for at least another 100 years afterwards, and then electric cars started hitting again back in like I would say like late 2000s, right? And just started dominating that space. That's another disruptive technology that is taking out, not reinventing the wheel, but replacing something with a better solution. So when I think about that, that's what I think about with stocks. If you're trying to find a winner, and if you're looking for advice in that way, that's the advice that I can give you. I'm not gonna, tell you to go and just randomly choose anything, but I feel like the easiest way is to find something that's disruptive in some field, and find something that the media is talking heavily about, something that's popular, a trend. Think about it, automation. That's another thing, okay, right? The factories took place of the automation to try to make it faster to mass produce things to get it to the public, right? So if they're trying to make it automation and replace the person with a robot, they didn't reinvent the wheel. They're just replacing you. So that's another thing. Oh, whether you like it or not, robotics is coming. So as you watch it in the movies, as you listen to it in the media, as you listen to inventors and people in Silicon Valley, people in California, and they're building this technology, people in Japan, all over the world, China, they're building this technology because they want it. No matter if we don't want it, these massive companies in the world wants it because they feel like it's going to be more convenience. So that's another thing. Look for something that could be more of a convenience and something that could be something that can mass produce. So because in that case, they're looking at it for a cheap price that they can. Like, okay, another example: Netflix, something that disrupted and destroyed Blockbuster and all the renting centers, right? And they had a chance to to get in front of the bullet. They had a chance to say, all right, this company's about to come out and really blow it up and make it where people can just stay home and get it. That's a convenience that people didn't want to go out, drive to the store, get out, walk into the store and look at stuff. No, that there could be some kind of like, iconic feeling there that, just being in the place and feeling it and seeing it. And, there's a word for it. I can't think of it right now, but basically, just to go out and actually see it, that could be in place. And that's why they probably thought about it. And they just said, oh, no, that won't ever happen. They won't take us out. And then, bam, they're gone. Amazon basically took out Toys R Us. So when you look at stuff, Walmart took out all like those small little convenient markets and stuff like that were in a town. Walmart just took all that out. So I look at things that are heavily talked about. Things that people want right now is space technology. Things to get us into orbit. That's probably like I don't even know what number. It's more than $1 trillion industry, a quadrillion, a zillion. I don't even know. I'm trying to make up words at this point, but it's an enormous number that we can't even fathom right now, that space development. So companies like SpaceX and companies like Blue Origin, or what's the other one, Virgin Galactic. I'm pretty sure that might be it, or Galaxy or something like that. But there's multiple companies like that are coming up because they realize the potential to travel into space, to explore. That excitement, that adventure, that's a value that we've all put a place on to try to understand what's out there other than what's here on the planet. So things like that's becoming disrupt technology. Another one that I didn't even think about, that I just found a company on a startup that I'm going to talk about in my next episode, and it's so, okay, you go out to the zoo, you get to see and explore, and you go around, you're seeing the animals that they brought in, right? Because you're not going to be able to go out there in the jungles and find this animal because it's probably highly dangerous, right? So in this case, people would go out on a safari. If they went out to these countries in Africa and run on a ride, and maybe Australia, anywhere, and went on a ride to go see these animals in their natural habitat. So it was a startup company that I found that are taking travel tours where you can do underwater, like under the ocean safaris, and just go around in a submarine. I thought that was genius, right? So things like that. There's another company. I can't talk about all of them because that's for another a subject, because I'm going to talk about that on my next video. But that's just disrupt technology. Look at space stuff. Look at things that maybe the president is currently working on. Hydro energy, clean energy. People want that. They want solar power. They want hydro water or something like that, or wind power. They want that type of technology. So when you're looking at that, you're looking at space tech. You're looking at you're looking at AI technology. Robotics. You're looking at that. Security. Anything that can be improved. That you see someone coming out with the idea with, that you're like, man, why didn't I think about that? I said, you can think about that idea, but do you have the skills to build it? That's the hard. Do you have the money to fund it? That's the hard thing. So the easiest way to get on the ground and make some money is to invest in stocks, to invest in a startup, because it doesn't cost you that much. It costs them extremely amount of time and money and funding to get these products out to us on the shelves. I don't even know how much money it costs them, but I can tell you it's a lot. So based off of that, for you don't have to risk all that. It's a smaller risk for you to say, I'm going to find a stock that could be a penny stock, that could be an undervalued stock, that could be a disruptive technology maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now. It's a long-term play, because it's not going to just disrupt it today. Like Uber came out, and over time, people that wish they invested in Uber are slapping themselves, kicking themselves around, like, why didn't I do this? What was I thinking, right? People that were thinking about Netflix, what was I thinking? Tesla, what was I thinking? So many companies, Apple, what was I thinking? Listen to this. If you had put $100, matter of fact, no. Apple, I believe, opened at about 18 cents. I could be right, I could be wrong. About 18 cents. And if you'd have put maybe $100 in at the time, it would probably be worth somewhere over at least $1 million. I can't do the numbers right now because the stock is valued at like 125, and the percentages would be like thousands percentage increase, right? So anyway, companies like that, but that started in 1981. Another company was Nike in 1981, which started a penny stock. Amazon started like 20 something dollars. I mean, there's so many different companies out there that started 20, 30 years ago that at that time when you were a child, depending on who's watching this, or I mean, at least a young adult that had some cash could have bought like $100 worth and just held it. Just like forgot it. It was just an account that, like an IRA account that you just let it grow over time. That's basically what's undervalued stocks and technology that could be disrupted to the next generation of people that are coming that we don't think about. See, this is the mindset I'm talking about. This is what I want to allow you to have access to. You might not have a friend like this. You might not have a family member like this talking to you and giving you this information free. I'm doing this all for free right now. I feel like that you should. I became the role model that I wanted, and I studied and I devoured the information. I became a sponge. I sat around the right people. I researched around the right people because I knew there's people that were smarter than me and I could learn from them. I knew that there was books out there that I could read that were from these brilliant minds that I could study and learn, and that it would allow me to just have a fraction of what they have. Just give me a fraction of what Einstein had. His visionary, his ingenious. Just think of his genius, but think of ingenious ideas that are not reinventing the wheel, that could just come in and disrupt something. Like, I think with the televisions, this new technology that it's like foldable phones and televisions. So it might look silly and all that and whatnot, but it could be a disruptive technology in the next 5 years. And we could have been all, slapping and scratching our heads, pulling our hair out. Why didn't we just invest $100 in it and just held it? Like, I spent $100 more on anything. People are spending $100. Now, all right, I'll look at it like this. Some people may not have the money at all to invest, right? So you start where you can. The golden rule of thumb that I was taught is that you want to at least own 100 shares of a company. So if a company is like 5 pennies, 20 cents, and it's undervalued, but you think it's a high technology, and you dropped in, buy as much as you can. Buy $10 worth, buy $20, buy what you can, and just keep growing it over the next couple of years. Because at that point, you can invest for the next 5 years just investing $5. That's why Acorn came out. That's why all those companies came out to try to round up your dollars so that it can invest for you. So you can't make that an excuse, because you basically, the system that you're in place with, working at, I can't retire until I'm 70 something years of age. Just because we living longer don't mean we want to work longer, right? So for me, I just knew that that wasn't it for me. I just knew that I don't want to work until I'm 7 years of age to just now finally enjoy my life. Well, now I'm at an age that I can't really do as much unless I'm highly healthy and active. But people that work more than 40 hours a week are more prone to health issues than any other person that's working. So if you working 50, 60, 70 hours, that's what I was doing, I was always beat, tired, exhausted. And then I still kind of feel that today. Your body gets achy. You start getting arthritis depending on where you worked at. Now, I don't have any of those issues, but I can feel the lag, the tiredness, just because I was pushing and burning myself out. And you can feel the effects. So people that's working those kind of hours, you're not sleeping. It's no way for you to be able to function while you at work and give 110% that you're supposed to be giving. Show up on time when you only slept 4 hours that night. I was doing that. I was working 14, 15, 16 hour days. I was working 7 days a week. Telling me to, so you can only do so much. How much Red Bull and coffee can you drink before you have a heart attack? So stuff like that, you are prone to more health issues. So for you, if you're going to agree to work for the next 20 years of your life, you could have chose that as soon as you came out of college, you got that degree. Or if you chose to work and get a skill and hone it for the next 20 years, that you can find companies that could be disruptive and replace the companies that you see in the next 10 years or 20 years. And it will allow you to retire at 40, then retire at 70. So I'm not trying to retire at 70. I'm trying to retire like 40. I'm trying to retire at 35. Earlier if I can. But the thing is, we have to find companies. That's one way that you can make money in the stock industry, or just one way you can make passive income by investing in companies, in startup companies that in the next 5 years could just blow up. Like I bought, I'm gonna talk about it in my other video, but I bought shares in this company that could be disruptive. I don't even know, or just another avenue to like the sport industry. and it was like, I think you got to invest like $150 as a minimum, and it gave me 50 shares, $3 a piece. So I was like, who knows? This could be a $1 billion industry. It could be a multi-$100 million industry in the next 5 years. They already valued at 17 million. So hey, let's see what happens. So that's just my 2 cents today. I appreciate y'all watching. Go follow me on Instagram, Mafi_Gray. That's MAFI_GREY. Just so that you can tap in and have a little bit of this mindset, so I can help change your life. You know what I'm saying? I do this for free because I wish I had it. Everybody want to charge you an arm and a leg to go to college, to have this information, put you in debt. Everybody want to charge you an arm and a leg to teach you this information, to be this multi-millionaire overnight success. That's a scam. But they want to just give you the tools and fundamentals so that you could be rich. But meanwhile, you making them rich. So look, I'm doing this for free. I ain't charging nobody. I don't need none of that from you, because I'm taking my skills and my abilities and I'm gonna dominate and make my own money. I don't need you to pay me. Not for now anyway. Not for anything that I'm doing now. This is just free for you. Go watch it on my podcast, YouTube, Instagram. Follow me, send a like, subscribe. That would help me out, just so I can get in front of more people, so I can talk to them, give them the mindset they need. Tag somebody so they can hear this. If they're interested in stocks and they don't understand anything about it, this could help you figure out what company you should be investing in. So hey, catch y'all later.